Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Shravanti and you're watching She Explains Everything. So, this is part 2 of the series on Microsoft Word tutorial, and in part 1 of the video we have primarily looked into the commands in the home tab and also how do we create a table of contents and how do you save and what is the difference between save and save as. So in today's video we will primarily be looking into the commands that are present in the insert tab of our Microsoft Word as well as the draw tab. So we'll primarily be looking into the commands present inside these two tabs, and we will also look at how to save to cloud and collaborate, because that was another topic that was pending. So for those of you who have not watched part 1, feel free to watch that video. You can find a link to that in the description box. And for those of you who've already watched part 1, let's get started and continue from where we left off. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to open the document that we were working on, and we have primarily looked at all the commands inside the home tab and also the styling, and we've also gone to references and seen how to create a table of contents and how do you automatically create it and update it as well, right? We've also seen how to save our document, and right now we're also going to see how to save it to the cloud. Let's look into that first. Okay, so this is in order to understand the collaborate feature. So whenever we save the document, if we save it locally within our desktop, then if we want to collaborate with other people on the team, then it becomes impossible because it's so saved locally to our desktop. We might have to share a copy of it with another person, and the other person will have to work separately on a downloaded version on their desktop. So it does not merge the changes that I have made with the changes that the other person is making, because we're technically working on two separate documents, which is my original document and a copy of this which has been shared with the other person. So in order to be able to collaborate, there is a concept called as saving your Word document to the cloud, which is nothing but OneDrive. And the Microsoft suite consists of OneDrive as well, which is like a storage space in the cloud. And when you save your Word document or any Microsoft document that you're creating to the OneDrive, you will be able to collaborate with other people and by sharing it from here. But before that, let's just see how to save it. I have already saved this to OneDrive, which you can see over here, but I'll show you how we need to save it. You just need to go to File, and right now it's saying save a copy, but if it's a new document, it will just say save. Like, I will just show you on another document. Otherwise, you just go to File and it says save as. So now you're going to save as, and when you browse locations, previously we have browsed it and saved it in the local folders, right? When you click on browse, you usually save it within your G drive or C drive, whichever are your local drives, right? And right now what we're going to do is we're not saving it locally, we're saving it to OneDrive. So in all likelihood, if you have your Microsoft Office suite, you will also have access to OneDrive, which is a storage space. So you will just have to, if you have not logged into it, you can log into it and then you'll be able to save it into OneDrive. So over here it displays OneDrive, so double click on that, and once you double click, you will be able to save this file into OneDrive. Okay, so this is the document that I've already saved to OneDrive. You can just give it a file name, save it as a Word document, and click on save. So that's how it's going to get saved to OneDrive. Okay, once the document is saved to OneDrive, you can just click on this drop down to verify if your document is showing its current location. This is basically to kind of check what is the location of this folder, like where has it been saved currently. So the top of every document will display that to you. For example, this has not been saved yet, so it doesn't show anything. Now this should display OneDrive to you. That means it's been saved to the cloud. Okay, now once it has been saved to the cloud, how do you share and collaborate? So in order to collaborate, you click on this share icon over here and you get a drop down, and on that you will click on share. So you can either share this document and collaborate with others by copying a link to this document, or you can directly share it via email. So to share it via email, we click on this link, and once it opens up, you will basically be able to type in anybody's email ID. For example, I will just type in uh, this email, and I can select it, but before I select it, I will also have to decide what kind of permissions I want to give them. So you can either give them edit access or view access. So if it's a view access, for example, I'm sharing it with my client and I don't want my client to make any changes to the document, I just want them to view it as is and give me their inputs or feedback, I can just give a view access to them. Now if it's a teammate and I want to collaborate with them, then I can go ahead and give them edit access, right? So you can choose which one you want to give over here. I'm just giving edit access, and you can click on send. So it's going to, a link to this document will be sent to this so and so email ID, and when the person opens it from their email ID, they can just log into Microsoft from there, and or they have an Office suite downloaded on their desktop, so they'll be directly able to open this Word document and they can start editing it as well. So now both of you will be editing the same document, and any changes that are made by you or the other person that you have shared it with, all of them will be saved to the document. So one quick thing over here is that there are some share settings as well. So you can just select this drop down, and once the email ID appears, you can select it, so it's been shared with this person, and you can click on the send icon. Okay, there are also share settings over here, a couple of other settings. Suppose you kind of want to set an expiration date to this document, wherein you are sharing it with the person, but you don't want it to be accessible beyond a certain date because you don't want changes to be made to it after that. You can set an expiry date to it. You can also set a password if you do want to share it to a person, but you don't want them, just for an additional layer of security, you don't want them to be able to access it without a password, you can also set a password. Okay, but for now I'm not using that, so you can just come out of that and send this to the people you want to share it with. And another option was the copy option, which we saw when we click the drop down here, copy link. So anyone with the link can also edit it, so you can copy this link as well and circulate it across with different people. Okay, so this is the how we share and we collaborate. So when we spoke about collaborating, we've also mentioned that the changes that you make as well as the changes that the other person makes, both the changes are going to get saved to the document, because now you're working on a single document. So in that case, we might have couple of questions like, if I make a change, for example, I have made a change to this line of my document, and I have said something like, I want it to be contents instead of table of contents, and the other person who's working on the document also feels like they need to make a change to it, and they have changed it back to table of contents. So yes, it will rewrite, and the last changes are the things that will be saved. But if you kind of want to track and have accountability to it, then there's an option as well within our review, which we will discuss in the further parts of this series. So within review, we have something called as track changes. So when we collaborate with other people, and when we are trying to see what changes have different people have made, once the document is collaborated, you can go to track changes and you will be able to view the changes that were made by different people. So this ensures a sense of accountability, so that if there was any mistake made in the document, or whoever made the changes, it is very transparent and visible to everybody who has access to the document. So there is no sense of worry of if I made a change, or if who deleted what, who made what change. There is a clear sense of accountability, transparency that can be identified through this track changes option. So we can see this later on, but that is another thing you need to remember while we are collaborating, that there is no need to worry about accountability. And the next thing is, while we're collaborating, we also sometimes might want to add comments, because you might have a series of comments or changes that you want to make to the document while reviewing it or while updating it, so that you're able to kind of communicate with the people who are sharing the document. If it's shared with 5 people, so that you have comments tracked over there, so that the comments are basically, they're just going to come on the side of the document, and it's just going to act as a comment that everyone who has access to the document can read through, and they can just have a idea of what is the thought process that is going on, or what updates need to be made, what changes need to be made. For example, if I just feel like over here I just want to insert a comment saying, I've already inserted a comment over here, so you can just check that. or you can insert a new comment. I'm saying something like the subheadings are missing, so I feel like somewhere here the subheadings are missing, and I feel like she explains everything is the person who is kind of working on it, so I'm just going to tag that person and say please verify. So when I tag a person over here with their email ID, basically they get an email that I have commented on this document, so they get notified as well, and they can come to the document, see the comments, and work on that from wherever I have left off. And also there are options to, like, resolve the comment or delete the comment. So since I have made this comment, I can also go ahead and delete the entire thread, which, the person who's coming back in, maybe she explains everything, can come and reply to this saying that it's added now, you can verify, or something like that. And if something is resolved, like, if an entire comment section is resolved, we can also either click on resolved, or you can also click on the delete thread option as well, right? So these are the two other options. Now if you want to create a comment, you can just click on new comment, and you can add a comment over here, like please verify the table of contents. Okay, so I'm just going to add that comment, and if at all I feel like this was resolved, I can click on resolve thread, which means that it's just going to close it from the comments, but it's going to keep the comment, but it's just going to remove it from the active comments. Okay, and yeah, I can edit my comment as well over here. So this is about comments, right? It enables us to communicate more smoothly with the people that we are collaborating with. Okay, so now that we are done discussing about sharing and collaborating, and comment section, let's look into the insert tab and what all commands are there inside this. Okay, so the first section is the page section, and inside which it consists of cover page, blank page, and a page break. So cover page is basically if at the top of your document, before any text or content starts for your document, if you kind of want to insert like a cover page, there are a lot of designs over here that are available that you can make use of. So a lot of times, yeah, this can improve the look and feel of your document. So we can just, add any cover page. Probably this looks nice, I can add something like this, and I can update this, like I can update the document title over here, and I can make a couple of other additional changes to it, like company name, company address, name, etc. So you can look at cover page options from here. There are a couple of options, you can go ahead and edit them as well. All right, so next thing is the blank page. For example, for some reason I feel like between two sections, like I just wanted to insert a blank page over there. Let's say I have two paragraphs over here, and my table of contents is starting over here, right? And this is my actual section that is beginning over here. Now let's say for some reason before the table of contents starts, I want to insert one more blank page because I want to put some introductory explanation or something over there. So what I can do is I can just come here to this page and insert a blank page over here. So if I insert a blank page, basically there'll be this page over here, which is consisting of these paragraphs. There'll be a blank page between this and the table of contents that will get inserted. So I'm just going to insert a blank page. If you see that, then it's gotten split because I've not put the cursor at the appropriate place. It was over here. So wherever you put your cursor, there'll be a blank page that will be inserted right there. Okay, so I can either, like, put my cursor there and insert a blank page, so there's one more page between my paragraphs and my table of content, so I can go ahead and insert any other additional content I'm looking to insert. Okay, all right, I'm just going to undo that. I don't want that right now. Now coming to the concept of page break, so this is again something quite useful. So what's going to happen is, when we are if we whenever we want to kind of go to the next page, right? For example, over here, like, let's say I'm just going to I want the multi-level list to start exactly on this page. This is page 3 of 8, and I want multi-level list to start exactly over here. But for some reason, if I have started adding content over here, right, XYZ and dot 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 and any content, like I've just started adding content, what you'll notice is the multi-level list, each time I click on enter over here, the multi-level list is also getting moved down, right? Because it is getting shifted in its position because there's new content coming on top of it. Now each time I add new content, you can see that the multi-level list is getting moved. But now I know for a fact that I want this to always start on a new page, and I want it to start at the top of the page. I don't want it to get readjusted every time I'm kind of adding content somewhere else, because then it becomes difficult, because as we keep editing the document, whenever we add content over here, this is going to lose its alignment every time. And I don't want that to happen, because I want this to always be starting from here itself, right? And every time I add content over here on top also, I don't want it to keep moving. So that is where we make use of the concept of a page break. So how do I do that is, I just keep my cursor over here and I just insert a page break over here. When I insert a page break over here, it means that any content that I add on top is not going to affect the multi-level list, right? Even if it does affect it, it gets moved to a new page altogether. So I have started adding content, if you see over here. So my multi-level list is starting on the top of page number 4. But for some reason, I am continuing to add content on top. Now, even if I add content on top, what happens is this multi-level list will always get pushed to the next page to ensure that this, wherever the cursor is placed, that always starts on a new page. So basically a page break means that wherever you place the cursor and insert a page break, that particular location will always start on a new page irrespective of what content you're adding. So if I always want this to start on a new page, and to ensure that this whole content is appearing together and it's not getting moved around, then I can insert a page break. Okay. Now, how can you also view if there is a page break that is inserted? If you remember, we have discussed these pilcrows or paragraph symbols. So if you click on that, basically, it will give you a thing where these are the end of every paragraphs, right? So wherever you see this p icon, reverse p icon, it's basically the end of a paragraph. But whenever there is a page break, what it does is it does show you a page break, like it gives you dotted lines with the page break written over there. So that's another way to kind of understand that there is a page break over there. If you somehow, like you've inserted page breaks but you can't figure out, or you can't recall where all you have inserted them, then you can just turn on this pilcrow icon and you'll be able to figure out where it's been inserted. All right. So I'm just going to turn it off right now. And yeah, so these are the three page commands that we have discussed. Now let's just quickly see tables. So under tables, you can see that we have multiple options. We can either insert a table, or you can draw a table, or it can be like a spreadsheet or something, or there are some quick table options. So basically, draw a table or insert a table, when you say draw a table, you're going to get to kind of manually draw a table, right? You can just draw a table, and it doesn't do much because you kind of need to insert um, columns and rows, right? So more than draw a table, the useful option that we can use is insert a table. So when we click on insert a table, it asks us for how many columns do we want and how many rows do we want for the table. Okay, so before we do this, I've kind of copied some content and kept it here, and we will sort of refer to that. Yeah, so I have just copied a table consisting of employee productivity report, but I have copied this from an online source, and because I've copied it from an online source, it's not very well aligned and things like that. So let's just create this table on our own and see how do we create it. So I can just place my cursor here, and now I want to insert a table. Now I can count how many rows and columns there are. Basically there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, right? So I basically want to insert a table which consists of 5 columns and 6 rows. Okay, so fixed column width, this is an automatic thing. It's going to adjust the column width according to the text that's present. And auto fit to contents, auto fit to window, no, these two we don't. Auto fit to window is basically it's just going to fit it to the whole window. We don't want that right now. And I'm just going to click OK and insert a new table. Okay, so now that I've inserted this, we can go ahead and start populating the contents of this table, right? But before that, we just see this red line over here, right? So just double click on this. This is coming most likely because of the fact that we have turned on our track changes. So this is enabling us to kind of track changes right now because this simple markup is turned on. I'm just going to click on no markup and that's going to disappear. Okay, so this is something we can look into later, but let's go back into our table structure, right? So I just want to zoom this in a little bit so I can either click here or use my cursor. And I can click on control on my keyboard, it's a shortcut, and use the scroll wheel on my mouse, right? So I can use the wheel up to increase the size or down to decrease the size, but you have to use the control key on your keyboard, or you can go ahead and use the zoom in and zoom out options over here. All right, so I just want to kind of paste this content, right? I want to paste these columns over here, so I can click over here and paste these over here, and I sort of want to paste the entire content, so I can do that like this. So I've created a similar table of my own. So another thing that you'll notice while you're making tables is if you just double click on these tables, if you can either click anywhere on the table or you can click over here, you will notice that there are two more tabs that appear over here, which is the table design and a table layout tab. So these are some additional features that you can use to edit your table model, change the design of your table and layout of your table. So let's just see what options come when we go into these table design options. All right, so when you go to table design, you kind of have firstly you have like these are like the table style options. So when you talk about styles, you can kind of make it look like however you want to. For that, you'll have to firstly select the table, right? So once you just select the table, you can choose different styles. If you see, like each time we change the style, it's starting to look a little different. So there's a drop down and you have an array of options over here with colors and everything. So you can choose any kind of table that appeals to you. And you can also do shading over here. So it can be a specific cell that you want to shade, or you can select the entire table, and also you can go ahead and shade it if you want to shade it in a single color. But I kind of like the look of the table that we just selected, this one, so I'm going to keep it as that. And you have some additional border styles, like if you kind of want the borders to be double line, double underlined, or a single line, or a thick line, or if you kind of want the borders to be blue lines, you can choose these as well. So you can choose your entire table and apply some border styles as well if you kind of want a double line. And for this you'll have to kind of select where you want it to be. So you can kind of like use it either like just for the upper half of it, like I have used, or you can use it for the whole table if you want to. You'll just have to draw it, right? So these are the border styles, and before applying the border style, you can also select the kind of style that you want, like whether you want it to be very thick, like based on this selection this will get changed as well, or I can just keep it like as usual. And I can also select what kind of border style I want from here. And there's a color as well, like if I kind of want all of that to be in blue, let's say, and I just want to draw it, right? I want to draw it over here, and I want to draw it around on the outsides of the table. So I'll have to carefully select the outsides of the table and make my drawing, right? So you'll just have to select this, and you can go ahead and select it like that, and it'll start looking like this if you kind of want to apply it. Okay, so you can go ahead and apply these table styles as well. And apart from that, always remember to also click anywhere on the table for the options to be activated, because if you click outside, a lot of them might be grayed out. So come back and click on the table and choose your options. So within borders as well, you can also choose to either manually draw, or you can select all these border styles and also kind of pick which one do you want it to be, only on the bottom or top, and do you want it specifically just for one single cell or the whole table. If you want it for the whole table, you'll go ahead and select the whole table, and then you'll choose your border options. Like basically if it says top, it'll only come on the top, or if you want it on the left, it'll come on the left. If you want it to be on the right, it'll come on the right. Or if you kind of want it on all borders, all the cells, all the everything will be covered by this. Or if you want it only on the outside, this is what it's going to look like. Or if you want it only on the insides, then it'll look like this. So you have an array of options over here. I think all borders looks nice, so I'll go ahead and select that. So in this manner you can also change your border styling, and there's also that is within your table design option. And within your table layout option, which will get selected by clicking on the table, and you'll be able to move these tabs. So if you want to go into the table layout option, here also primarily what options do you have are, if you kind of want to insert another row and you realize that at this point there is another row of another candidate that I want to enter, so I want to insert a row below, right? So I can also go ahead and insert a row below, or I can insert a row above this if I want to, between Jason and Meena. If I want somebody, I can insert a row there as well. Now, if for some reason I realize that I kind of want another additional column over here, then after this, right, after efficiency, then I can go and insert a column to the right. So it'll insert it to the right of this. Or if I want a column from somewhere over here, but I want a column between department and tasks completed, then I will place my cursor here and insert a column to my left, right? I can go and insert this as well. Now I can do it like this. And suppose I don't want these columns that I have added, I can also go ahead and delete them. So when I'm deleting, I can delete the columns or the cells specifically, or the rows, right? Here I kind of want to delete the entire column, and I want to delete this as well because I don't want this selection. So I'm going to delete the column here as well. And same way I can select this, and I can click on control on my keyboard, and I'm basically going to select both the rows at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and delete. Okay, we cannot delete both at a time. Also, you'll find the delete options somewhere here as well. See, you have insert cells and delete cells when you right click on your mouse on the specific area selected, right? So I can't delete and insert parallelly, so I'm just going to do it individually, one at a time. So I'm just going to delete the rows, and I'm going to go ahead and delete these rows as well. Okay, so I can also delete the table. I'm just going to select my table once again and go back to table layout. So you have a couple of other options over here where you have your draw table, delete, and these are the inserts. And you also have an option to merge cells and split cells, right? So for some reason, let's say I kind of want to insert a title for this table. So what I'll do is I'll insert a row above, and I want the first row to be just a title, right? So in that case, I'll just want to merge all the cells. So I'm going to click on merge cells, and I can insert a text over here, like maybe just employee performance details, right? So this can be my title. And also within your cells, if I want to align it right now, so I have my alignment options as well here. Okay, so I can go ahead and I want it to be a little centered, right, my alignment. So I'm just going to click on center. So it's going to align the data that is present within that cell. So I can go to any cell and pick my alignment as well. Either it's the top right corner or the top left corner or the center of the page. So this is the alignments for the top of the cell, and this is the alignment for the middle of the cell, and this chooses the alignment for the bottom of the cells, right? So you can do that. And also, if I kind of want some cell margins wherein I don't like the cell spacing, like I know that marketing, the word M is starting over here, but for some reason if I feel like I want some margin to be left around my each cell, every cell, then I can click on cell margins as well and pick how many centimeters. For example, if I want like 0.5 centimeters of margin everywhere, like top, bottom, and left and right for my specific design, then I can just do that, and you will see that everywhere there is that much spacing left, and now the word has been fit in such a way that the cell margins are maintained. Okay, I'm just removing that right now. So this is how you can use the cell margins as well. And you can use the merge cells, and you can also use split cells, right? You can split the table as well. For example, let's say that after Rohan Mehta from Priya Desai, I want this to be a different table altogether, because let's say this is employee performance details of the HR department. Okay, and let's say from Priya onwards, it's belonging to, okay, of course Priya, here it says HR, but let's just say for some reason from Jason onwards there are no HR candidates, and this is one category and this is another category. I can go ahead and split the table as well. Okay, and then I can make it another table, or I'm just undoing that. And another option that you have apart from the split tables is you can also go ahead and split cells if you need to do that for some reason. Like over here, let's say after within department itself, I kind of want to split it and make it department Also when you split cells, by the way, what it does say is number of columns that I want to split it into. So right now it's one column. How many columns do I want to split it into? So I want to split it into two, right? So I mean, this is, I'm doing it again. Let me just undo it and show you again. So this particular column, I want to split it into two new columns. So I can do that. If I want to split it into rows, I can do that as well. But I just want to split it into, let's say, department A and department B or something like that, right? So then I can go ahead and split these as well, and I'll just align these, right? So I can split these cells as well in that manner. Okay, so these are your main table design and table layout options that are available that you largely use, and that's how we use the table option within the insert tab. All right. Then quickly looking into the other options, basically there's an insert pictures option wherein you can insert any pictures from your device, which is basically any locally stored images that you have. You can choose those and insert those, or you can also choose to pick online pictures, right? So when you go to online, you can search any kind of image. Let's say I kind of want to insert employee image, right? I'll just search on employee, click on employee, and I'll probably just insert an image from here like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and insert those images as well over here, and you can always edit these images. So when you double click on the image, there's a new tab that opens up which says picture format, and within this picture format, the way to edit it is you can firstly crop this out, right? We don't want the bottom of this to be present, so I can click on crop. For that, I just click on it, and these black rectangles are what are going to appear to me. So I can just go ahead and choose to move this a little bit to kind of crop it to the size that I want. I can crop it however I want, and once the cropping is done, you'll just have to kind of step out of it, and that's been cropped for you. So I can delete this text box if I want, and I can just keep the image. All right, so that's how you can crop an image, and you can also, like, crop it to a shape. Like many times, you kind of want to fit a person's image into a circle, like something you see at the top over here, you want to fit it into a circle, right? You can also crop things to a shape. Like I can just crop it to a specific shape, and we can also, like, crop to shape additional. You can pick whatever shapes you want, and you can do it in this manner as well, right? You can make it a circle by kind of making it a little narrow, and yeah, these are the different crop options. There are also, like, a fill and a fit kind of options that you can use to basically resize the picture in a way that it is going to fill the entire area, right? So that's what you can do things like that as well. Let me just delete the crop, and yeah, you can use these options, and you can also use the height and width. Either you can increase the height from here and the width from here, or you can go ahead and change those over here as well. Okay, and there's also, basically, you can also, for example, I don't want the background to be present. There's a remove background, which is a very interesting feature while editing your images. So you can go ahead and remove those background by mark. There are two options here: either mark areas to keep, or the mark the areas to remove. So right now everything that's in pink will get removed if I just click on OK, right? So all of that has gotten removed. So in this manner, I can kind of remove my background also. So you can go ahead and use this cursor to sort of, like, mark areas to remove, right? So I basically want to mark the E because I want the E to stay. So I'll just circle that, and somehow a chunk of this E has gotten selected. So I want the whole part of this to be included. So you can play around with this and ensure that this part is not getting deleted for you. So you can select the area however, like, by manually selecting it. And now when I just say keep changes, it's going to remove the background. So you can go ahead and, kind of delete your image or play around with your image in such a way that you're able to remove the background. And this becomes very useful when you just want to place the image of a person and kind of remove all the background. You can do that as well. Okay, and you can discard changes if you don't want that. Apart from that, you have a lot of other options, kind of like photo editing kind of options, where you can change the filters on it and the colors of it. Like, you can choose whatever color you want, and there are a lot of artistic effects as well, like based on the saturation and things like that. So based on, like, you can make it look a little very different based on these artistic effects and transparency. If I don't want the image to be very, very bold and present, I can also make it a very transparent, so that I can make it present over there but not very visible to anybody. It's a sort of in the background, right? And another important thing is, for some reason, if I feel like inserting another image on top of this, right? Let me just pick another image, for example, and let's just say I'm inserting any random image, right? um, let's just say I just insert this just to illustrate the concept. And let's say I kind of want this image, let's delete this. uh, and let's say I kind of want this image to be small, but I want to place this image over here, right? Okay, so apart from transparency, you have a couple of other options, like you want to kind of compress the picture or reset the picture to its original, everything, right? Bring it back to its original, you can do that. And there are a couple of styling options here, like you can give it a shape and a border and things like that. You can play around with these as well. And yeah, these are a couple of other, like picture editing options that you can use, borders or layouts or things like that, right? So this is for further editing your images. And once you're done with the pictures, within the insert tab, we can just quickly look at the shapes as well. So if anywhere within my document I want to insert a shape, like I kind of want to insert an arrow mark coming from here to, let's say, here, then I can insert that as well. And there will be a lot of options to edit this arrow mark as well. When I double click on it, there's a shape format that appears. So over here I can change the color, the layout of it, the fill color, like what color I want it to be, the outline, the effects, and a couple of options that will just repeat over here. You can use these to edit your shapes that you have inserted. All right. So pictures and shapes. And when it comes to icons, like a lot of times, if you kind of want to insert a small icon of some sort, like maybe you just want to insert, while making a presentation, you want to have many headings within a document, and for each heading you kind of want to insert an icon at the side of it, then you can also use these icons and sort of type your text after the icon, right? Like employee retention rate. Okay, so this could be your title, and you can resize the icon as well based on your need. And you can also go ahead and edit the icon as usual, like if you double click on anything within the insert tab, it takes you to a new tab where you can play around with further features related to that object that you have inserted, right? Yeah, so you can play around with some of these features to edit this shape, or sorry, icon that you have inserted. And there are some 3D models that you can insert. Basically, if you have some 3D kind of model inside your device, or if you've stocked some models, you can use these. But next thing that most frequently is used by people is smart art. So smart art is basically a combination of diagram which consists of text boxes inside it, and these are like predefined smart arts kind structures which you can use for inserting your content in a specific format which looks like these. For example, if I have a list that I want to insert, I can browse some features. If I don't want it to be boring plain old text, then I can select options from here and insert my content into these. For example, like I can use a figure like this to probably convey my whatever concept I want to convey. Like if probably I have like 3 images to place over here, I can paste those, and I can paste the content over here as well. So smart art is something that's very useful, where you can use predefined combination of images and text that is put into a certain format to make it look good. So you can use these shapes for different categories. There's lists, there are processes, there's a hierarchy option where you can use, probably if you're trying to create an organization chart, where you have a project team and you kind of want to display who's the project lead, and you can insert this and probably edit this, who's the project lead and who is the probably the SME on the project, and then who are the team members on the project, right? You can insert this as well. So that's how you make use of smart art, right? And charts. So charts is something that we will discuss more when we do our lessons on Microsoft Excel. But just for a brief understanding, you have a variety of charts over here, like, bar charts, pie charts, line charts, column charts, etc. So if you kind of want to insert any chart within your Word document, you can choose that as well. So how these charts work is basically I'm going to click on a chart, and once I click OK, so how does this chart basically get its content, right? So it will always link you to a Excel worksheet, right? And this worksheet can be edited, the content can be edited over here. If you have a specific table out of which you're looking to make a chart, then you can insert a chart in Word, and this chart in Word will always be linked to an Excel worksheet, and that data over here can be edited, and that is going to reflect as a chart over here, right? So this is a predefined thing. I can go ahead and, for example, change these into A, B, C, D. When I change these, it's you'll basically notice that it's also going to reflect on my chart over here, right? When I come out of it. So when I just close this, it's also going to reflect over here. So that's how the charts in Excel work, where you can get it linked to another Excel worksheet and input your table chart content over there, right? And if you want to go back and edit the data after you've closed the Excel worksheet, then you can right click on the chart and you'll get an option to edit data. So you can go ahead and edit data again. You can either edit data here, or you can open a you can open an Excel worksheet. There are two options over here. Either you click on the edit data, or there was also an option on the arrow mark. You can edit data in Excel as well. So it'll open up the Excel worksheet for you, and you can edit it from here. And there are a lot of chart options as well. Like when you click on the chart, you see chart design and format, right? So these are things that we will more so discuss in our lessons on Excel. But you can go ahead and play around with these features to kind of change colors. And if you sort of want to add any chart elements, like, you want to add a chart title, or you want to add, like, data labels. Basically, this is my data, and at the end of every data point I want to add a label to indicate what it is representing, right? So I can do that as well. So these are chart options that we will discuss in detail in Excel. But for a basic, a word chart that you want to create on a Word document, you can go ahead and use these, and you can just explore some of these other chart design and format features. All right. uh, All right, and apart from the charts, you can also do a screenshot. So that's another useful thing. So you can insert a screenshot anywhere within your Word document, of anything that is there from your available windows, or you can also do a screen clipping. So I can just kind of want to skip, do a clipping of, let's say, I just open up this, and or I just kind of want to maybe open up a something on my notepad or whatever, like that I have made a note of. Let's just say I've made a note of this, and I want to insert like a screen clipping of this. So I can just go here and click on screen clipping, and it opens up the window, and I can just take a screenshot of, snippet of this, and basically insert that right here wherever I want to insert it. All right. So that's a screenshot option, and there's also an option to insert online videos. So if there's any video from the web that you want to insert, then you can also do that from here. All you have to do is paste a link of the video over here, and that video is basically going to get embedded for you within this document itself, and you'll be able to play it from the document as well, right? So you can just give that a try and see how to insert a video as well. And the next thing is basically a link. So this is something that is important and useful. And how do you use this is, for example, let's say on my table of contents or somewhere, I want to attach this is basically hyperlinking. So hyperlinking is basically when I put my cursor here right now, it is not taking me to any specific link. But if I want to link this area to a certain other part, for example, I want to link the table of, let's not say table of contents for our better understanding. Let's just say I want to link this multi-level list to something, right? When I click on link, I basically want to attach a link to it. So I can either link it to anywhere else in the document, or I can also link it to a existing file or a web page. So I can also link it to a web page. What do we mean by a web page? Let's just open any, web page, and I'm just taking a link from the web. So if I take a link from the web and copy it, if I want to hyperlink it, let me give the link and show you what happens. I just paste the link in my address column and I click on OK. When I click on OK, this thing has changed its color and appearance. It's basically been hyperlinked, which means this specific text has been linked to another place on the web or within this document. Now when I click on it, it basically gives me a hand like cursor over here. When I click on it, it's going to basically take me to that specific link. It's going to open up that link and I'm going to get to view that, whatever is the thing I have linked it to, right? So that's basically how you can hyperlink. And you can either hyperlink and to hyperlink anything, you basically need to make a selection first and then link it. So I want to link it to a specific document, or I want to link it to any web page, or I want to link it to some part within the document. For example, it says place in the document. Let's say, for example, table of contents at the top, I want to link it to somewhere inside the document, right? Let me link it and place in the document. So there is a part where, let's just say, I want to link the table of contents to this part where I have kept introduction to C programming. So when I link it like that and I click on it, it takes me to that part of the document where that is present, right? So this is how you can make use of linking. All right. And then there's also a bookmark option. So if your Word document is very long and for some reason you kind of want to bookmark a specific location because you want to keep revisiting it, then you can do that as well. So for some reason, if I kind of want to keep revisiting this specific paragraph, right, I can select the whole paragraph also and bookmark it, or I can select any specific, like just wherever I keep my cursor, that is what is going to get saved as a bookmark. So I just need to give it a name. So maybe I'm just going to be like topic 1. Okay, so maybe I'm just going to give it topic 1 as the name, and I'm just going to go ahead and add it. Okay. And another thing to note is when we are bookmarking, we cannot select the whole thing and try to bookmark it, because then it's not going to, yeah, we can actually select the whole thing also and bookmark it. And I'm just going to mark it as, say, topic 1. And I just, okay, 1. So a number is not allowed. So maybe I'm just going to, spaces are not allowed. Okay, so for your bookmark, so I'm just going to name it like this without any space and click on add. So I've basically bookmarked it. So next time when I want to open a bookmarked place, I can basically be somewhere else on my document. Let's say I'm over here, but I want to go back to that place. I click on bookmark and I can either, like, click on topic 1, double click on it, or I can click on topic 1. Let me just close this and go back somewhere over here, and let me click on bookmark, and my topic 1 is selected. I can just click on go to. So it's basically going to take me to that place where I have bookmarked. All right. The next thing is cross-referencing. So this is also another useful thing, which is somewhat like linking, but cross-referencing is basically if I want to, I have mentioned something related to a particular topic on page 1 of my document, but there is something more related to that content on page 8 of the document. So when I'm linking it, it's basically a hyperlink that is taking me to a specific location which consists of data related to that. And cross-referencing allows me to basically move between the two locations that are referenced, right? Let's just say, for example, I just remove the link from here. Whatever link I have remove link, right? I just want to remove the linking to illustrate probably cross-referencing, right? So you can click on cross-referencing and you have a couple of options. What do you want to basically cross-reference it to? Is it like a numbered item, or is it a heading, or is it a bookmark or a footnote or an equation? What is it, right? So let's just say I want to cross-reference it to a heading, right? And within my headings, I have multiple options, like where do I exactly want to cross-reference it to? So let's say introduction to C programming. So when I insert it, I say, so it's been, yes, insert the cross reference. Basically it's gotten inserted twice. Anyway, so what happens is, over here, it's basically inserted a hyperlink again to the concept whichever has been cross referenced. So while cross referencing thing to do is, the better thing to do would be to keep this content as is, place a cursor over here, and then click on maybe cross reference, because I don't want the content to be replaced. Whatever is over here, I don't want it to be replaced. I just want it to be cross referenced to something. So I click on insert and close, and now I can, it's placed next to it and there's a hyperlink attached to it. So I can just click on it and it will be taking me to that part of the document, right? So you can use cross referencing as well when you kind of want to, wherever you are illustrating or talking about a topic on, let's say, page 1 of the document, and there's more related to that on page 8 or something, then you can insert a cross reference so that people can move back and forth to kind of refer to the further details related to that thing. Or maybe you have just given an explanation but you want to cross reference it to a research paper or a research topic that you have attached on page 8, so you can cross reference it in that manner at the juncture where you have mentioned the concept. All right, so next is the comments, and we have already seen comments, right? We can either insert the comments from, either we can insert the comments from here or we can insert the comments from here as well. All right. Next, coming to the headers and footers. So header and footer is basically at the top of your page, right? Header is something that comes at the top of your page. So many times we would have seen that, either in novels or books or even textbooks, we usually see the top of the page consists of something, either like a page number or like a title or a chapter name usually, right? And a footer usually consists of a page number and maybe a date or details like that, right? So how do we insert that to our document? You can either select the header and footer from here, or anywhere. Anytime you open a document, you can just double click here and that's going to activate your header and footer, right? So your header and footer can be something that you type in, or first thing is, if I want to exit it, I can just click on close header, right? And go into your insert, and let's say I want to header and footer is something that get inserted all over your document throughout, right? So once you insert it, there are a couple of options. You can either choose the header to have, like, one single concept over here, or I have 3 blank columns, or you have different options also over here, like you can choose to have different types of headers. So let's say this is saying document title, and it's just like, let's say basics of programming is something that I want to give as my header, and I just want to come out of my header. So this is something that's going to come at the top of every page other than your cover page, because cover page is not going to consist of a header. All right. So this is how you insert a header, and if you see, you can also have some options to edit your headers. If you double click on it, it takes you to a header and a footer page. Okay, or a tab. So over here you will be able to edit some things. Now one thing that is interesting over here is, if I kind of want to have a different header for the odd and even pages, okay, if I want a different header for the first page, I can do that as well. So since my different for first page is ticked, marked over here, then what is happening is, it's saying first page header, right? If I uncheck this, then the same header will basically be applied to everything. Okay, it will be the same header all over, but if I want it to be different only for my first page, I can check that. Now if I want it to sort of be different for odd and even pages, like, if I've spiral bound my document, and the odd pages come on the left side, or sorry, the even pages would come on the left side and the odd pages come on the right side, and I want the header to be different on both sides, then I can use that as well. At that point, it's going to ask me the header for the odd pages, and it's going to ask me a separate header for the even pages. I will have to insert that as well over here. So I can just insert anything over here, right? So this is something that is going to come for all of my even pages, and for all of my odd pages, whatever I have inserted is what is going to come. Okay, so you can use this option as well. And these are some of the options that you can use for your header and footer. And we have not yet seen the footer option, so let's just go there. And under your footer, basically you again have multiple options. Let's say you have blank, like, 1 column or 3 columns, or you have some other fancy footer options as well, like, you have a date with a number or page number and things like this, right? So you can choose anything. Let's just say, for example, I want like a 3 column footer, right? And let's say I actually want only a 2 column footer. What I can do is, I can delete this whole thing, and let's say I just want want a 2 column, it gets deleted everywhere. And I don't want 3, but there's no option for 2. So I've taken the 3 and I've deleted one of them. And at this point, let's say I want a page number here and I kind of want a date over here. Okay. Let's say I want page number. I can either type the page numbers over here, or what I can do, if I type a page number, basically it's going to appear the same everywhere. Like if I type 1 over here, what's going to happen is when I come out of my footer, everywhere it's going to have 1, but I can't have that, right? I want a page number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert something called page number. So that is available in your insert tab as well, or you can go to your header and footer and you have a page number. So I can use different styles of page numbers. Again, there is a top of the page, bottom of the page margins, etc, etc. So basically I want it to be at the bottom of the page, or there is also a current position. I've made a selection here, right? So I basically want it to be at the current position. So I'm just going to select current position and kind of select what style do I want. Do I want it to be like this or like this? Page 1, I want it to say something like this. So I'm going to select that. All right. So over here, that is the page. And if I want to insert the date, there is also an option for date and time, right? So I can insert this as well, and I can insert it in whatever format I want. So I'll click on OK. Now if I check mark the update automatically, what is basically going to happen is that every time you open the document, it's going to update it to the date of that specific day. Today is 27th. If I open it tomorrow, it's going to basically update it to 28th. If that's what I want, I can do that as well. But I'm just going to keep it as the current date and keep it over here. Now it has going to start appearing everywhere over here, right? So this is your footer options as well. And if you just want to come out of the editing of the header and footer options, you'll just have to click on the close header and footer over here. All right, so it's going to bring you out of it, but now it's been applied to all your pages, right? As you can see. So okay, that is how you insert your header and footers. And the next thing is, before we go to the next thing, another thing you have to notice, the borders have come on this because of the kind of header that we've selected, because we've selected the document title option because it's coming with a border. If you select something else, none of the others will come with a border. So you can, it depends on the kind of style that you've selected as well. All right. So you can just come out of the headers now, and that's how we've seen the header, footer, and the page number options. And apart from this, you also can like insert text boxes, right? If you sort of want to insert a text box somewhere over here, and you can insert a normal text box, or there are a certain beautified versions of it, predefined versions that you can make use of. Like if you want to insert a text box somewhere over here and you want it to consist of some content, and you can put that over here as well, at the introduction part of it. So these text boxes are basically predefined, where you can sort of insert your topic name, and you can also insert the subtext under it. All right, so these are some of the options of text boxes that are present and available over here. And a couple of other word art options, like, you know, if you, we have seen word art some already over here as well, right? You can use that. And some of the other important things, another important thing is, how do you insert an object? This is one more interesting and important concept. So let's just say that for some reason I want to embed another document within this document, and that document could be a Word document or a PowerPoint document or an Excel document or anything, but I want to embed it, right? And I want to say here, please find a link to the um, Excel workbook containing the data. Let's just say I want to link it over here, right? And there's another Excel workbook that I kind of want to embed into this document in such a way that if the person just clicks on this document over here, it takes them to that specific document I'm referring to. So that is where you insert it as an object. Now, how do I insert it as an object? If you have two options. You can either create a new object altogether, and this object basically refers to either an Excel document or a Word document or a PowerPoint or anything, or I can insert an existing Excel document. Now we'll just see that, right? We click on the drop down and select object. You have two options, either create new or create from file. Let's say I want to create a completely new Excel doc workbook itself, and it's not even present as of now, right? What I can do in that case is I can insert an Excel worksheet, and I just basically want to display it as an icon. So it's going to display as an icon, and let's say I kind of want to rename it, and I don't want it to just say Excel worksheet, and I want to say employee retention rate. Okay, this is my Excel worksheet, and I just want to insert it here. I click on OK. So this allows me to embed another Excel workbook within this Word document in such a way that when I click on this, it's going to open another worksheet which consists of the data that I want to basically refer to, right? So there is one way to create this. One way is basically like, create a new Excel worksheet altogether. And when I click this, it's basically going to open the Excel worksheet that I have created, and I can insert data into that. All right. Now, the second way is if I kind of want to insert something that is already existing. Let's say I kind of want to, let's leave this topic and let's just say that I want to insert, please find a link to employee resume, right? And maybe I just want to insert a resume that I already have. So what I'll do is I'll go to object, and create new is something that I want to insert as a new document. And here I can either insert an Excel document, or it can be PowerPoint or Word, and I can display it as an icon and insert it. It's basically going to embed a blank document over there. You can go into that blank document, make changes and save it, and that is what is going to be the data that's going to be displayed. Or it can also be an existing file that I have. Let's say I want to embed my resume over here. I'm just going to click on browse because it's already available with me. And let's just say I want to insert my resume. Let's say it's over here, right? It's a Word document, and I want to insert this. Now when I insert an existing document, I have another two options over here. One is the display icon. I definitely want it to be displayed as an icon. Now if I don't click on display icon, what happens is when I uncheck it, wherever my cursor is, it's basically going to paste the entire content of that new document over here. If we click on OK, my entire resume is just going to come up over here, right? I don't want that. I basically want it to be inserted as an object. So first things first is I'm going to select my document, and which is within downloads. Give me a second. So I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to definitely want it to be displayed as an icon. I don't want it to be displayed as an entire text over there. That's the first thing. Now another thing is there are two options. If I do not check link to file, what is going to happen is it's going to paste the document right here, the original document which is Shravanti resume. And if I do not tick this, if I make any changes to the original document, which is Shravanti resume, it will not reflect in this embedded object. However, if I want any changes that have been made to the original document to also reflect inside this document object that I have pasted over here, I need to check this. So when I check this, what is going to happen is it's going to changes to the source file will be reflected in your document. However, if I uncheck this, any changes that have been made to the source file will not reflect over here. So let's say for some reason I also know that I'm going to keep updating this document, and I'm going to keep updating this as well. Then I will also choose to keep this checked, so that whenever I make changes to my resume, that changes are also going to reflect in this object that I have embedded over here, right? So when I click on this, it will always give me the updated version of whatever is my original document. All right. So this is how you insert an object and embed another object into your existing document. All right. The next thing is we also have options to insert equations and symbols, and this is something that comes very handy and useful for teachers when they are kind of like preparing question papers, right? I kind of want to do a page break and go on to the next page right now to illustrate this. A lot of teachers, like, when they're making question papers these days, there is no concept of handwritten question papers, right? You kind of have to print them on Word itself. So math teachers especially have a lot of equations that they need to insert. So this equations and symbols as well, like, you have a lot of symbols over here, like all the mathematical symbols, Greek, Latin symbols, whatever you want to look for, you can find them here. But more importantly, this is how you insert equations, right? I can do a full separate detailed video on equations if any of you want me to, but basically just to be in brief, you can click on insert new equation. You can either choose equations from here, or you can also click on insert a new equation. And once you click on insert a new equation, it opens up an equation tab. And within this equation tab, now you can choose what you want your equation to look like. For example, if the first thing that you want to say is something in like differentiation dy by dx, then I can pick from here. Or I want it to just be in a fraction format, but I want to input the values, then I can go ahead and choose this, and I can just input them, like 1 divided by just give me a second. So basically I can choose these blocks over here and update the values over here. So this has become 1 by 2, right? So how do I type these kind of things? This is how you type it. So you can go back into your equation, and again, like if I want it to be dy by dx, then it can be like this as well. I can put an equal to sign in between and make it look like this. And if I kind of want it to be e to the power of x, like these kind of things, or I want to use a square root radical kind of equations, I have integration related equations over here as well. And you have sigma related equations. You can explore these. There are brackets, and there are sine and cos related equations as well. And let's just say I want to insert a new equation to say sine theta. I can insert sine, and over here I can insert a symbol called theta, and these are the symbols. This is where I'm going to find my symbols, right? So I can do that. There is again a limit, n tends to infinity kind of equations over here. And you can use matrix as well. You can insert a matrix as well to make it look somewhat like this. So there are a lot of equation options over here. If anyone wants me to, I can make a separate video altogether on that. But these are where the places where you're going to find the symbols, basic math symbols, like you have theta and you have phi, and you have all these symbols that you use basically in mathematics: alpha, beta, gamma, and all of these. And another thing that you need to know while using equations is, if I don't want it to be in the center, right, you click on the drop down, and there's basically a justification option. I kind of wanted to start from the left, so I'm just going to make it left justified. So same way I have options to make it right centered, or different options, right? So I can use this justification option, and once I come out of it, it's just the equation over here. So in this manner I can insert a lot of equations. So that's how you insert equations. The moment you click on insert new equation, it opens up a new tab for you altogether, right? So just come out of it, click on enter, and let's say I want to insert one more equation over here. Click on equation and insert new equation, and you can type your equation here by using all the variety of mathematical symbols, or what do I say, like mathematical structures over here, be it like a fraction or a script or anything, and then using the symbols as well, right? So that's how you type equations. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and delete this right now. All right. So that is a big part of, like, the insert tab. And quickly just looking into the draw tab, there aren't too many options that you really need to know over here, or are complicated to understand. They're basically just like your paint kind of tool. Like, you can just free-handedly draw things. Like if I just use this option, I can basically go down. This is basically just for some free-handed drawing, so which we most likely will not really use in Word. But if you sort of want to make any free-handed drawing, because I don't know, like maybe some teachers want to make a figure, a geometric figure, or they want to make a diagram which is indicating something, you can make use of that. You can make use of an eraser over here to erase what you've drawn. And there are two colors of, basically black and red. So for example, it can also just be to sort of, like, when maybe you're just correcting a paper online, and you just want to tick mark everything that is correct, and you kind of want to use a red pen to sort of, like, cross mark something that is wrong, because you're correcting papers online. You can do that as well. And there's also a highlighter option. So if you kind of want to highlight any of your text, let's just go back up somewhere, and let's just say I sort of want to highlight something manually. Basically, it lets you highlight it manually, right? So you can do that as well. And there is another interesting option called as a ruler over here, which is also something that you can use. To know that, let me just go and into a page break, and enter onto another page altogether, right? Let's just say I'm over here and I want to go on to a page break, and let's just say I'm just going to erase all of these things. I don't really want any of these things right now. I can go ahead and erase it. And a ruler is basically, okay, these margins have again come because I'm just going to go and turn off no markup. All right. So these rulers, basically it allows you, for example, for some reason, if I sort of want to draw a margin, or I kind of, I don't know, for students who are probably making like a document or something, and they kind of want to draw on the corners, something like this, with their pen they can just take a ruler and draw something like this, and once you remove the ruler from here, it's going to appear over here whatever you have drawn. So how do you basically do this? You select the ruler, and another option to, basically, if you want to turn around the ruler to a specific degree, you have to use the scroll wheel which is there on your mouse. If you go up, it's going to decrease it by 1 degree each, and if you go down, it's going to move it to the left like this. Let's just say I want it to be at an angle of 60 degrees or something, like, uh, you can increase it by your specific degrees like this, and you can also move the ruler over here, and you can sort of draw if you want to draw something over here, right? And once you remove the ruler, that's just going to disappear. It's not come right now, so you can use your ruler and choose a color. Maybe I'm just going to choose black, and you can make your drawing, and once you remove the ruler from there, it's going to leave that mark over there. All right. And another important thing over here is ink to math. So while making your equations, for some reason, if you're sort of struggling to find the symbol, right, because there are a lot of symbol options over there, and if you're finding it hard to find it, all you can do is you can just type it over here. For example, if I just want to type sine theta, I mean, I'm not saying type, sorry, you can just draw it with your mouse over here, and you can see that Word is doing a very good job with recognizing these inputs that you're giving, right? So let's just say I want to do sine theta divided by cos theta, right? If you do a good job with the drawing, it's going to be able to sort of figure this out properly. Now it's understanding this as this, so I just don't want that. I wanted to erase this part, and I sort of want it to be divided by, right, sine theta divided by, I'm just also going to erase this whole thing, and I'm going to write, for example, cos theta. And if I don't want to go and insert the equation because it's going to take me more time, I can also just do this, something like this, like, I can write out the equation with my mouse, and it's going to be a lot easier. So it's going to recognize it better if you kind of draw it better. But I have not done a good job with this over here, so I'm just going to erase this and write it out again. So tan theta, right? So in this manner, I can insert this equation right here without having to look for the symbols over here if it is going to be difficult. So that's another useful thing that's present inside your draw. And this largely covers up some of the most important commands that are present inside your draw tab and your insert tab. And as part of this video, we will just look into these two, and in the next video we'll probably complete and look into some of the important commands that are present in our design, layout, references, and mailings tab. But if we know things to this extent, then it should suffice. And if any of you want me to make a more detailed video on the equation section, I can do that as well. But for now, please do go ahead and practice all the commands that we have looked at in the insert section as well as the draw section. And home is anyway something that we've completed, and within references we've also seen the table of contents. So you are in a position where we have covered the beginner level commands in most of the command tabs, and we will just look into the design and layout and references and mailings, some of the important things that are needed on a day-to-day basis for creating your Word document. But as of now, this is it, and I hope this video was helpful. And if any of you have any additional questions, do feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which is part 3 of the Word tutorial series. And until then, I hope you do great, and see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.